Camping with Keith, also known as Dr. Green Thumb. I got the shit that make your mind numb. Whoop whoop. Welcome to a nice little frigid night of frickin' camping. I don't care if it is cold. I still like coming out here. Yeah, just chilling. Ate me a pizza earlier, half of it. So my belly's nice and full right at the moment. The fire's going. A lot of my wood's wetter than I thought it was. And I think it's wetter on the outside than it is on the inside. It's like I was grabbing pieces of wood to put on. When I first broke all the wood up, I had my gloves on, so I didn't feel the exact wetness of every piece that I handled. But yeah, there's some pieces that are wet. But that's right, they still burn after a while. They don't care. They still gonna burn. It makes it like makes it like a slower burning fire. The flame's not as intense, but you'll put wood on. Like I've been putting shit on there, you just hear it sizzling. It would have been nice to give it another day before I came out here, just to let the wood dry a little bit more around here, but I got it going. I think it don't matter what type of weather it is or conditions, you can still get a fire going. You just got to know how to prep it and keep your tinder close to you so you can keep feeding the fire, because sometimes you got to just start off real small in order to get that fire going if it's damp shit, because you're going to be actually drying stuff out in the process of trying to burn it. So it's just a general process. I've had some small fires that I just kept feeding, and eventually they did, take off, but it was pretty dicey. I can only remember one fire, I think, in my life that I couldn't get going. That was in the middle of winter. The wood was probably frozen, and it wasn't dry or something. I had like a wheel. There was at a campground. There was a fire pit, like a empty 50-gallon drum. They cut both ends off, and then they cut it so you could actually use it as a. They had racks and stuff on it, so it was versatile. You take the racks off and shit, and I put a bunch of wood down in there and dumped a bunch of citronella on everything. I was like, oh, that'll work. So I lit it, and it's going. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, start putting little shit on there, and all of a sudden it goes out. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking, there's nothing, no red coals, no nothing. It just went out. So I dumped more citronella on there, and it's going a little bit. I'm like, cool. I think I got it going now. Goes right out again. It happened like 2, 3 more times, and I was like, shit. I ain't gonna get no fire going tonight. So that was the one fire I tried to get going. To this day, I remember stands out as the one I could not get to take off. Yeah, I found a little something interesting. Looking for wood. Now, some places I went looking for wood, and some places I haven't. But I went up right behind my shelter about 30, 40 feet, and I found a deer carcass. It's not a fresh deer carcass, but it's still a deer carcass, and it makes me wonder how in the hell that deer died. And that's pretty damn close to my shelter. Only thing I can think of, maybe what's up, bro? Only thing I can think of is maybe it died of old age, chronic waste disease, or whatever that shit where they freaking fall apart and do weird shit, or it was killed by some kind of animal, maybe a coyote. But yeah, it's in pieces. It's pretty messed up. God, it's fucking pain in the ass sometimes to mess with these fires. What you up to, bro? I bet you're a lot warmer than me. Fire will be raging here in a little while. It always starts off kind of tiny and shit. And then by the end of the night, it's like 3 feet wide. And about a foot closer to my shoulder than when it originally started. Still thinking about getting one of them little wood burning stoves and put the stack up, cut a hole through my tarp in the back corner. There's room back there, and I could. Don't know if I put a flange at the top if that stop it from melting or not. Hell yeah, homemade cheeseburgers. I've said fuck it, and I walked and got a pizza. Didn't feel like cooking. I was gonna make a steak, but I ended up eating that like a night or two ago, and I didn't want to let that meat de-thaw for too long, and so I ended up eating that. We didn't really have much to cook out here, so I walked and got a pizza. Yeah, if I would have waited one more day, the wood would have been a little bit more drier, and if I would have came out a day early, I would have been fucked. A little bit of wood in my shoulder, but not enough to get me through the night at all. How's your car running? Still doing the DoorDash shit? Yeah, my goal is to start driving within by Christmas. I should be able to because I think on the 1st I'm getting my insurance, and then I'm gonna go down to the BMV and set up my shit for my driving test, and I gotta take the written portion of it, and that should be it. Rode the bus, man. 3 days in a row. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. My fucking pharmacy. I was so sick and tired of that shit. DoorDash cut you off. That's fucked up. I don't know anybody looking for a car right now. I think everybody I know has one. That's messed up. DoorDash cut you off. You know, you lost your little source of income you had. The only way you can have a guaranteed job, it's not even really guaranteed, is if you start your own business. I don't know how many times I've worked places and I thought, this is it. I'm going to retire from this place, and fucking next thing you know is I'm getting laid off. So I went through all that bullshit. Get a job, figure like, oh, this is where I'm going to retire, and I don't have to worry about nothing else. And worked at Glen Medical. It was this place where I rebuilt them oxygen units like elderly people use in their home. But I was real fast at doing it. And I kept getting ahead of myself, and I'd work myself out of work. And next thing you know is they're laying me off. And they were doing this shit like routinely. And I'd come back for 2-3 months and they'd lay me off. 2-3 months to lay me off. And then the last time I went there, I got fired because I was smoking while I was working. I didn't think they could see me. But apparently they got cameras. I knew they did, but I didn't know every little camera that was there. And I had my bowl of tobacco, and I'd take a puff or two and put it back in my pocket. And I'm sitting there the one day, and all of a sudden the manager comes out and says, hey man, Ryan wants to talk to you. And I'm like, all right. And usually Ryan will come out and talk to me. He's like I don't know what you call it, a supervisor, or maybe, I forget the name of it. He was high up, but he called me in his office, and as I'm walking in, the manager's walking in behind me. I'm thinking like, oh fuck, this ain't good. He's like, go ahead and have a seat, Keith. So I was like, all right. So I sit down. He's like, hey, we got a little bit of an issue. We seen you been smoking. We don't know what you're smoking. I said, it's fucking tobacco. And I take my tobacco pipe out of my pocket, and I show him. I'm like, look, man, I'm sorry. I admit I did something wrong. I was like, man, just don't fire me, bro. It's like, people make fucking mistakes. I ain't never made no mistakes working here. And he's like, man, we just got policies, and if we just let you get away with it, then it's not going to look good to everybody else. But, I don't know. And I was like, well, all it is tobacco. I smoke my pipe tobacco sometimes out of a pipe, and I don't always roll it into a cigarette. And he's like, yeah, man, we were just smelling that stuff everywhere, and we didn't know where it was coming from. But then we just kind of looked at the cameras and seen you the one day puffing at your workstation. And it's like, yeah, fuck it. People were sitting there at their workstation vaping. And they were like, man, you're working at a place where it's an oxygen place. You know, there's oxygen. I'm like, man, there ain't no oxygen running. All we do is clean the fucking units. We don't turn them on and run the bitches. But yeah, it's the only way you got guaranteed the job is if you just start your own business. I had my own business selling video games and shit for a while. It was profitable for about, I don't know. It did for about a year or two. It's when eBay just started. I mean, eBay had just started. It was the prices or the fees to sell on there was super, super cheap. And I think now I forget how much it is. It's just to sell an item on eBay, what percentage they take out. But yeah, it's fucked up. Sorry to hear about your door dashing not working out. Man, I got on the bus the other day after I was having one of the bad day. I think it was number 2, and I think I had figured out part of my problems at the pharmacy and took care of it. But then I get on the bus and I hear, hey, what's up, Keith? And I look up and I'm like, holy shit. It's like I used to live next door to this dude at this where I'm camping, the trailer park next door to it. I used to live next door to this dude there. It was kind of cool, and I hadn't talked to him in probably 14, 15 years, and I was like, damn, he's older than me. I was like, damn, bro, I didn't know if you're still around kicking. It's like, glad you see you're still here and raising hell. And he's like, yep. I was like, shit, man, I ain't seen you for a minute. I'll have to stop over and smoke. And he's like, huh? And I raised my finger up like I'm smoking. I was like, hell, we're going to have to stop over. I'll puff down. I ain't seen you in a minute. And he told me where he lives. So I guess the only good thing that day is I ran into one of my homeboys from a while back. And I'll go over there and hang out. So I don't know what the fuck I got going on this week. I don't think as much as what I've had going on. Everything's kind of died down. I still don't like. I felt so whacked out, man. I was so mad for. I mean, when you get stressed out, it'll drain you, like physically drain you. Those 2 nights in a row, I was so just emotionally just strained. Like it's just fucking. I don't know. It's history. I just focus on what I got going on right in front of me, and it's pretty nice and beautiful, and I'm just enjoying what I got going on for me right now. Yeah, but I found out that damn deer carcass. I was like looking for wood, and I seen something like Ripley in the grass, and I didn't really pay much attention to it at first. I thought it was maybe a piece of carpet or something, because I found a little fire ring back there too. Because there's no way bricks are arranged in that type of a pattern. So there was a small fire that there's probably people that come back here for years, man, would just hang out and party and stuff, and those people have just moved on and they're just not around to do that anymore. So now I'm the one back here raising hell back in these woods. I don't raise too much hell unless I got fireworks. But hell, I'll be sitting out here and I'll hear people letting off fucking. They gotta be M1000s or some shit. And I'm talking the real deal ones, not these dumbass ones you buy from the fireworks store. The real deal motherfuckers that'll blow a crater in the ground. The first M80 that I ever had, the real M80s, it was very tiny. It wasn't nothing huge. The guy warned me. He says, don't light this off anywhere near your hand. He goes, just, it's going to be loud as fuck. And I'm like thinking like, yeah, whatever, because it looked so tiny. Because he's like, I put one in a grill and literally blew the thing up. And I'm thinking like, there ain't no fucking way that little thing is going to blow anything up. And I held on to it. I didn't want to light it off around my house or anything if it was that damn wicked. So I end up taking it with me. It was fishing. I was fishing with a buddy of mine, and we we're fucking around, and I took, god damn it, my tobacco pipe's leaking resin again. Shit, oh well. We ended up taking fishing with us, and I was sitting there chilling. I had an idea I was gonna light it, so I went ahead and lit it and threw it in the water. And I watched it float away, float away, float away, and it goes underneath this bridge. And that's when it blew up. And when it blew up water on both sides of the bridge. It was insane. I was little and I panicked and fucking ran and hid. You know, buddy, we're just sitting there hiding, like, oh my god, there was one other person in the park and shit. So it was loud as fuck. So to this day, I've never had any real M80s. Had them as a kid. And make them motherfuckers now. I watched YouTube and I seen a video on how to make it. I just got to order it. It's like, I think it's 2 chemicals or powders or whatever. And when it ignites, it flashes green. Because if you do research on this shit, you can kind of learn how to make your own fireworks. You're not, I don't think you're legally allowed to, but if you watch YouTube, you can pretty much figure out how to make anything. You been doing any metal detecting? Find any cool shit lately? Fucking pipe. There's all these dogs start barking earlier. I thought actually it was coyotes, and after seeing that fucking deer carcass, that's what I thought it was. The fuck is that? Huh. Don't know. But yeah, after that deer carcass and them damn dogs started howling and shit, I thought it was coyotes. I jumped up, grabbed my flashlight and shit, ran off looking for them. And it was over by the storage units. I don't know if they got dogs to protect it. I doubt it though, because there's people that would be coming and going, I would think, from that place at all hours. So yeah, there was a shit ton of dogs barking. Not no damn coyotes though. I watch this dude sometime. I think his name's Coyote Peterson. Gets he lets himself get bit by some of the craziest ass bugs and shit. I watch him. Half the time I'm thinking like, you're a dumbass, man. I understand making videos for people and shit like that, but just like, oh, I'm gonna go out and get bit today by some of the most painful insects out there. I think the most painfulest thing I've ever been stung by was hornets. What the fuck there is? I remember I was a kid playing at a friend of my mom's, and we went over there and for the day, and they were playing volleyball and shit. And we're all hitting the ball, and it goes and hits a hornet's nest underneath an awning on the house. And I went over to get the volleyball, and them fucking things went after me. And it's not like a bee where they just bite once. Them hornets will bite repeatedly, over and over and over. It's just like a wasp. But that's probably the most painful sting I've ever had. I don't think you could pay me to let myself get stung by a centipede or some other retarded shit. Oh, I said the R word. I got a friend of mine, she works with people that are mentally disabled and shit. If I say retarded, she gets mad. Like it's the N word or some shit. It's funny because you grow up saying things. You have, like, I don't know, sayings and shit. And it's like, now, since Trump's elected, things are a little different. I'm going to give you an example. All right. If you seen a transsexual walking around out in public, you wouldn't, in the past, you wouldn't say nothing. You would just kind of like maybe look up and then look down like, what the fuck? It had happened twice in one day. Okay, where I was at my doctor's office and this nurse comes out and says, Jonathan, and this girl gets up and she goes walking towards him or her to the nurse, and she goes, "I said Jonathan. Sorry." And she's like, "I am Jonathan." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, I all of a sudden looked up, and everybody's looking up, and they're looking. And they all start giggling and shit. The guy goes back and shit. And everybody's just talking out loud about it, how fucked up it is. And when he said, "My name's Jonathan," I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah, it was so funny. But then here's the funny part, the messed up part was when I went to Walmart and I'm sitting there and waiting for my ride to pick me up, and this dude gets out of his car with his fucking wig on, and he had so much makeup on, he looked like a freaking clown. And this dude in the car yells, "Hey, bro, you ain't fooling nobody." And I lost it. And there was 8 or 9 people around just stopped, looked what they're doing, and looked at that dude and was just laughing at him, just laughing. Because it's just fucked up to see somebody like that, and they just go out in public like it's just no. I don't know how the hell they get the balls to do that. They don't have balls apparently. They want to be a damn transsexual. But yeah, things are changing. People, I guess you don't have to be so sensitive around people anymore, and I'm glad because I was sick and tired of feeling like I'm on thin ice everywhere I go and everybody I talk to. Don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Shit, ain't nobody care about fucking hurting my damn feelings. Well, at least you and your old lady are sitting somewhere it's nice and warm. Oh shit. Yeah, I gotta have a nice roaring fire. What's this chili? I know I'm gonna have to do some beefing up when it comes to my attire, and when it comes, if I'm coming out here and it's 5, 10, 15 degrees, whew, I gotta get a portable propane heater. I have these 2 propane bottles, and I know my stepdad, I think, has one. It saved me from having to buy one, but I can easily use that within my shelter at night when I want to go to bed. But I think if I was going to use that, I would drop the front door just to keep the heat inside. But I think I get more heat, I think, with the door open sitting by the fire. I'm seriously thinking about putting one of the, or it'd probably take a few of them reflective, I think it's Mylar, or if you're like freezing to death and you put on an emergency, them ponchos that are made out of that reflective shit. And I was thinking about getting like 2 or 3 of those, or if they give sheets of it, and put it all on my ceiling in here, because that would conserve so much heat. The heat would just be like whew, stuck in here. It does a pretty good job the way it is now, but it just probably could be a little bit better. Yeah, I wouldn't have to that pizza. The only thing that sucks about that is after you've sat there for 3 hours breaking up firewood and shit, you're worn out, man. You don't want to walk like fucking quarter mile to go get a pizza and come back and shit. It's not exactly what you want to do. Always bring enough shit where I can usually stay out here for a couple of days if something happens, or if I just decided I wanted to stay out here for a couple of days. But usually in the morning, especially if I haven't slept, I'm just like ready to go home. Within 2 days, I'm ready to come back here. I'm like bored just being at home. Ugh. At least my neighbors haven't been preventing me from sleeping. I've been playing my video games kind of loud, but I mean, fuck, they keep me up all night. I mean, during the day, me being semi loud, I don't think it's asking too much. But I don't know how loud my game systems and shit is upstairs. I just know I got a subwoofer and 212s and the 2 satellite speakers and shit, so it's loud. But I don't know. I worked hard to get that shit. Some of it was pieced together, and the stereo that I'm using now is messed up. I had a sound bar. I went and spent $500 on a freaking Dolby Atmos sound bar and subwoofer. and it was all right. The subwoofer rattled, so I had vice grips I clamped on the side of it to stop it from rattling. That's something brand new you buy that was doing that. I didn't feel like taking it back. I just said fuck it and dealt with it. And then there was an issue where the power went out and it unsynced. The soundbar unsynced from the subwoofer, and I could not get the subwoofer and the soundbar to sync back up together. And I tried everything. I tried everything over and over and over and over. Then I googled shit, and they said, yeah, that particular soundbar and subwoofer, the PCB board and the subwoofer, a lot of times goes bad. You got to replace it. So it's like, what the fuck? So I sat there and didn't have no subwoofer and shit. And then one day, my aunt called me. She goes, "Hey man, I got some speakers over here you might want." I'm like, "Yeah, my stereo took a shit. I'm kind of looking for a subwoofer." "Oh yeah, we got a nice subwoofer for you." And I'm like, "Oh really?" And I was like, "Oh okay." And I started thinking like, "Shit." I went over there and got it. It was a super nice subwoofer, like four or five, six other speakers, and I just went home and was like thinking like, how do I hook up this subwoofer? And I remember I got this stereo in my closet. That's when I broke out my stereo. I hooked it up to the sub and everything, and that's what I've been using since. I don't even care to use that sound bar. I get way more sound out of using the speakers I got set up than that little sound bar and a subwoofer. What the hell is that shit? You heard weird ass noises back here. Best not be no motherfucking Sasquatches. I'm knocking Sasquatch the fuck out. I ain't scared. I will knock a Sasquatch the fuck out. Well, I like my girl kind of hairy, so I maybe I would like a girl Sasquatch. I'm just fucking around. Oh. Yeah, but after all that rain, I opened up my shelter and everything was completely dry in here, which is cool. Rained for what 2 3 days I think straight. All 3 days that I was running around, it was fucking raining. I went to that cool little spot that I have over by my pharmacy that I went a couple times to and made videos. I sat there for probably an hour on this wet rock. I didn't even care that my ass was wet. I just was mad. And then I was venting on my ex girlfriend, and her mom watches my videos, and she's like playing the video at the same time as my ex is sitting there with her mom. And she's like, I don't even want to hear it. Just turn it off. I don't even want to hear it. I was like bitching about, she thinks she knows the best thing for me. I know what the fuck's going on. I don't need nobody telling me what the fuck to do. And I just was going off. I was just mad, venting about everything. And I told her, I was like, I'm sure there's things. I said, you were kind of in the wrong. So you have to understand, it's like sometimes there's issues going on and the person taking care of the fucking crap knows what they're doing, and you're going to chime in and make it sound like the person's doing something wrong. And then I'm questioning myself. I'm like, am I doing something wrong? It's like, hell no, I ain't doing nothing wrong. I did the right thing. And if I wouldn't have did it, all the steps that I took to deal with all the bullshit I was going through, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all. I'd be sitting home fucking feeling like shit. I'd be fucking not being able to sleep. I know my one doctor did end up calling in my sleep meds too, which is awesome. I figured I was gonna have to go without them. I called him up. I was bitching. I'm like, man, you guys, last time I went to my doctor's appointment, you didn't call in my fucking meds. And it's like, that's messed up. And I'm sitting there looking at my schedule. I'm like, man, I got something going on December 4th or December 5th. No, I do. I just can't remember what it is. So I'm going through my calendar, and here's my uh, appointment with my one doctor. I made a mistake, and when I scheduled it after my one meds ran out, so it was all my fault. The one shit was, but I still was out of meds, and it's fucked up. That's why I feel like I'm on a leash half the time. I can't. I mean, I can go and do shit, but there's some of my shit. I guess I just feel like I'm stuck on a leash to play all the games that doctors want you to play. That piece was wet. Yeah, some of these pieces are wet, but they still burn. I think it's just like the outside of the wood's wet. Damn it. There goes the pillow. Yeah, I still need to hook up with you, bro. I didn't forget about you. I just had a lot of bullshit going on, and I thought you were probably busy with your DoorDash and shit. But yeah, now that you ain't got really much going on with that, I'll probably hit you up this week. Get with you. I might need to find some fucking trees. I can probably find some on my own, but I was sitting there going in the. I went to go to the bathroom down at the bus station, and I walk in the bathroom. Oh my god! I smelled the best weed in the world. And this black dude was sitting there breaking up a blunt, and this other black dude walks in like, "Holy shit! It smells so good in here!" And I'm like, "Tell me about it. That's some fucking fire there." They're all making a deal right there, and shit. My whole deal, my thing is, I'm kind of like noited out about fucking with people I don't know. I had some shit happen. I got robbed. It's a kind of fucked up story to tell, but it's the truth. I was before I had my glasses, I did have a lot of hard time seeing shit, especially from a distance. And I was waiting on my buddy to pick me up from down at the bus station, and I called him up, asked him if he'd pick me up. I said I'd give him a couple bucks for gas. He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing something right now, but I'll be there in a few. Just give me a minute." I'm like, "Sweet." So I'm sitting there, and he was black and shit. And this dude pulls in and waves me over, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's my dude." And I didn't recognize the car, but he would ride other different shit from time to time, so it wasn't nothing out of the ordinary if it was he was driving something different. So I get my shit and I get up and I'm walking over and he's clearing off his seat, so I just open up the door, I get in, I sit down and I go to buckle up and shit, and I'm like looking at something I had in my hand or something. I looked up, I'm like, "What's up, bro?" And he's like, "Oh, shit." I look over, I'm like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Where's Tom at?" And he goes, "Tom." I'm like, "Yeah, my dude, like, was supposed to pick me up." And he goes, "Oh man, he said he was busy up in Akron, but I got you." But you got some gas money? I was like, "Yeah, I got a few bucks for gas." He's like, "Sweet, bet I got a couple stops to make. It's just kind of on the way, if you don't mind. That way I don't have to go out of the way and drop you off and come back." I was like, "Yeah, it's cool. I ain't doing shit." So I'm riding around with him and go to one of his people's house, and he's talking to these like three big ass black dudes, and my phone rings, and it's my dude, and he's like, "Hey, I'm down at the bus station. Where you at?" I said, "I'm with your homeboy," and he goes, "Your my homeboy? What the fuck you talking about?" I was like, "The one you sent to pick me up." He goes, "I didn't send nobody to pick you up." He's like, "What the fuck, dude? Get out of that car. You're about to get robbed." My fucking heart sank because I just went to the bank. My dude did not know I went to the bank because at first I thought maybe he set me up. I had taken $500 out. I didn't tell a fucking person about that shit. And I get out of that fucking car and I'm going to walk away. And he goes, "Where the fuck you going?" Just like that. I said, "Just walking." We were right next to a store, like maybe 20 feet from the store, 30 feet from the store. So I got up. So I'm just getting me something to drink. He goes, "I don't think so, white boy." As soon as he said that, I just kind of like picked up my pace. And as soon as I went to walk in that fucking store, he put his foot in front of the door. He pulled out a gun. He says, "You better come up off what you got now, or I'm gonna shoot your ass dead where you stand." I'm like standing there. I just had my hands up like that, and he went and reached in my one pocket super fast and pulled out my keys and a fucking door card for my apartment. I seen what he had. And he went to run off and shit. I'm like, dumbass, thinking, and then he fucking turns around, comes back, and does the same fucking thing again. This time he's got the gun in my head, and I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" I'm like, he grabs my wallet and runs off. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, "Oh my god, this nigga just got me for $500 and shit." But you know what? To me, it wasn't worth losing my life. It's just that $500. I had more money in the bank, so I didn't give a fuck about that $500. But the whole point of the matter was, I just wanted to kill that motherfucker. That's the only time I've been robbed at gunpoint, and that was a. Ever since then, I've just been kind of leery, especially like getting in people's cars. I don't know. I got robbed once other time when I was homeless too, but that a lot of people have stories about when they were homeless and they got robbed. Running around with the wrong people. trying not to judge people and shit, giving them a, you know what I'm saying, not judging people because they're homeless and judging by their, you know, their whatever the fuck they get into, and just like I'm homeless and I'm at a stuck spot too, so I can't sit there and dog anybody for how their situation is messed up. So I didn't judge them, running around with them and shit. And it's like I ended up. He asked if he could borrow some money, and I said, yeah. And he goes, it's just to the end of the day. I got to go mow a yard. And he goes, if you want, you can come with me and we'll just split it. It's like $80 to mow the yard, and I'll just give you $40. That $40 I owe you. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I was going to work and make $40. So I was looking at making 80, put the 40 back in the bank, and it would have worked out fine. And he just blew smoke up my ass. He just, as soon as he got that money and shit, I'm walking around with him, he stops and buys some damn crack and shit. I'm sitting there like, that's messed up. I just gave this dude $40 and just bought crack. But I kept walking around with him and shit. And so I kept asking, I was like, when are we going to walk up to your aunt's to mow that yard? It's getting towards dusk and shit. And I had to be at the homeless shelter by 9 o'clock. So I started getting a little concerned, and he's like, no, we're going, let's go. So we start walking there. I'm talking like walking far. Probably the farthest I've ever had to walk. We get to this, he said it was his aunt's house. And he said, we'll mow this yard and bang it out real quick, and I'll hook you up, and I got some shit I got to do. I'm like, all right. So we're walking up the alley, and he goes, here, stand here and shit. She can't see that you're here. And I'm like, all right. And he goes to walk away. I'm thinking, like, can't see that I'm here. I'm supposed to be helping mow the fucking grass. So he disappears around the front of the house. And I'm like, man, I'm not getting fucked here in this deal. I'm going to see where the hell he's at. So I walk around the front. I didn't care what he said. And he looks at me all shitty. And I'm like, what's up? We going to mow this yard? And he's like, oh, she's not here. She had to run and get a key or drop off a key to where she works. And I'm like, all right. He goes, she'll be back in like 20 minutes. Let's go up the road and shit real quick. Just, I want to run up the store and get something to drink. You thirsty? I was like, yeah, that's cool. So we go up to the store and we walk in. And I'm just walking around behind him. He goes up to this section of where the school supplies are and shit like that. And he starts grabbing a bunch of shit. And he goes, turn around. Let me see your backpack real quick. And I said, fuck that shit, dude. I ain't shoplifting for your ass. Like, no, fuck that. So I was like, I got up and left. And it's like, there ain't no way I'm messing around with this fucker now. And he's like, well, come with me, bro. I got a way to make some money. So he goes, and he's like, you can't be walking with me. He goes, but you can trail me. And then that way, when I'm all done, I'll hook you up with the money I owe you. So I'm trailing him. He's going door to door, saying he represents Ronald McDonald House. And these fools are actually giving him money. But then the fucked up part is he's sitting there walking up to me, counting money and shit, and tells me he can't give me the money that he owes me because this money here isn't his. And I'm like, this is bullshit, man. So I just ditched his ass. I was so mad the guy got me for $40. That was one of the other time I got like robbed. I remember I was sitting at the store and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I can't walk that far back all the way now with a messed up knee and shit. And so I called my mom. I hadn't talked to her in like probably a couple years. I told her what was going on. I said, look, man, I got robbed. Man, I can't get my glasses to get clean. So I got robbed, so my mom came pick me up, dropped me off the homeless shelter, gave me $40 and shit, and it's like, it was cool. It's like, it's hard to trust people nowadays, man. Hard to trust people nowadays. That's why I don't have really into. I mean, the people I know they're not going to come over and steal shit from me, but I don't really have people come over to my crib either. That's better. I can see clearly now that the smudges are gone. I bought a battery pack for my phone so I can charge it when I'm out here. I mean, literally, last time I was out here, I was down the last 2 or 3% on my phone. And I was waiting for somebody to pick me up and shit. And then I called him. I was like, man, do you have a particular time you'll be here? Because my phone's about to die and I'm going to shut it off. And I'll turn it back on here in a little while. And then I'll come and meet you. So luckily, I was able to work it out and get to the person's car before my phone shut off. But yeah, I'm gonna charge my phone up after I do go live. Sit here and chill for a little while. Probably eat another piece of pizza or two. Yeah, but thanks to anybody that came in tonight, watch a live. I'm just chilling, literally chilling. But I'm not cold. I'm not like freezing or anything like that. I haven't even really started putting on the big pieces of wood yet. I always try burning up the little shit, or the middle sized stuff before I start putting on the big stuff. I was responding to a comment on one of my videos and shit. I think it was Terra Explorations or something. I used the word fuck, and he goes, "Are you sure you want to use this word? It could get you in trouble with your community, the community you're posting in." I'm like, "Bitch, this is my community. Fuck you." So I put fuck in it. I mean, I wasn't worried about nothing. Nothing happened. That's how wacky YouTube is getting. When I first started watching YouTube, it was like it was the wild, wild west. There was so much weird shit and so much prank stuff going on. I mean, there was actually literally funny stuff. Now it's like wishy washy. Everything is like almost PG-13. Can't even say fucking certain words like pedophile. You can't say that. You put pedo, you got to put a P number 3 do. That's fucked up. And suicide. That's another thing that they're fucking crazy about. ICP song Suicide Hotline. This dude was actually bitching that he was watching YouTube, and all of a sudden, before that song came up, it came up with a warning about this song uses harsh words and language that may be detrimental to your psychic or your mental health stat or some bullshit. It's like, man, that's crazy. It's a little chilly. I almost can't. I'm looking forward to when it starts to snow. Where the fuck is my weed pipe? Here it is. Don't remember putting it in my pocket, but there it is. Yeah, I kind of look forward to the snow. I think it'll be cool out here watching the snowfall. And being able to sit underneath somewhere where I'm not getting wet or, the whole thing, the adventure when you set up a shelter and it rains or if it snows or something like that, when the shelter does its job, that's rewarding. The only times that it's rained out here, I haven't got a single drop in my shelter. Even when I was using just the one tarp, the first time it rained, I was over at that little meadow with the grass, and it started raining the night before, or like really early in the morning, just like this last time I was here and it was raining. It started rain. I heard it start to sprinkle about 3:30 in the morning, but they weren't calling for rain until 5, and I was like, oh shit, it's actually here early. And then I just kind of like ended up falling asleep sitting there on my cot and lay down. I just kind of fell asleep sitting there, and then I ended up kind of like looked over, and the fire was kind of like still going a little bit, but it was definitely needed some wood, and it was like raining for sure. Well, no big issues. Only problem is that I got a tarp on top of a tarp for my roof, and the second tarp that's on top of everything, it's longer at the bottom, which is good because then I put bricks on it to keep the bottom down. But the problem is that when it rains, there's a puddle that forms right at the end of my tarp. So I'm gonna dig a little hole right by where it puddles, and I'm gonna make it so it's at an angle, and the water will go into that hole, and then it'll just disperse into the ground once it gets in that hole. It's not gonna fill the hole up with the water and make it like a swimming pool or a mud puddle or something. The thing about putting all of this medium shit on is you gotta like keep messing with it, keep adding stuff. That's why I like big stuff. When I cut down, I was making a video earlier. There's this big ass tree behind my shoulder. I said, "Wow, that thing's all dead. I mean, I ought to cut that son of a bitch down." I actually cut that tree down. That's the biggest tree I've cut down back here. It was like snap, 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 snap. I'm like, "Here we go, timber!" And that thing slam hit the ground and broke in like two pieces. I'm like, "Oh shit, it's gonna be easier to break than I thought it was." And that gave me some big pieces of firewood for the night for sure. Just rambling on and rambling on. Yeah, my whole goal with the live thing is just to go live once I go camping and shit. People end up tuning out, don't really want to watch the lives. I'll just continue with the videos and shit. I just thought the live would be kind of a cool way you guys could get to see the real me a little bit more than just seeing a video. None of my videos are scripted. I don't like write down ideas or things I'm gonna say and shit like that. I don't ever do anything like that. It's all off the hip. If I was anywhere else or doing anything else, I wouldn't be able to like make a video and just talk and I just enjoy being out here and sharing my adventures with people if they want to watch. My fucking shoulders hurting. Oh my god. Apart from using that axe or hatchet. Hatchet man hated to use his hatchet. Oh. It's actually a pretty good hatchet. Let's see if I can reach it. Yeah, I got it. Oh. This bad boy here. I wanted to buy a bow saw and I wanted to buy a hatchet when I was at the store. And they had a hatchet for like $30. And another thing is, I bought a machete from Walmart in this for $8 at the beginning of summer. And I know it was $8 because I heard somebody on YouTube talking about they were going to kill their boyfriend with the $8 machete. So I was like, "Where's this $8 machete at?" So I went and bought one. That thing was dull as a butter knife. Fucking, I got to sharpen that thing. It would be badass if it was sharper, but it did its job. It cut down weeds and stuff, and even some trees. But yeah, just I went to the store and they had the hatchet, but they didn't have no bow saw. I was looking all over the place for a freaking bow saw. And so they had this. It was a bow saw hatchet combo where you sit there and you take, fold that up like that, and then inside, that's better. Inside they get a blade for a bow saw. Then you connect it here, the bottom, and then this little case, you open it up and you connect it right there, and then now you got your bow saw. So it was like a little combo deal. It was like 27, 28 bucks, and the hatchet was $30 on its own. So I knew I was going to spend probably like 50, 60 bucks between the two, but then they had this combination, and I got it. And I was like, man, that's not what I want. And I just wasn't real happy at first, but then I started thinking, it was like, actually, it is kind of works out better. Shit, sorry guys. We were experiencing technical difficulties. Yeah, I ended up coming out here. It's like slowly but surely I keep getting more and more little like, gear and shit. This can tell anybody that wants to do something like this. There's certain things that you ought to have with you. One of them is the zip ties. Another thing is string and even duct tape. I always have those three things with me. Duct tape, duct tape worked great for little holes I found, and even patching up areas where there was gaps and stuff. The tarp or the duct tape worked out very well. Even on the back wall, I used some duct tape, and I ended up taking and where there was two tarps. I met where they met. I actually duct taped them together. It's standing up is where it's holding up pretty good. I think I was watching it was Steve Wallace. He's like, man, don't use duct tape cold temperatures because it just doesn't stick. Well, the duct tape I've used stuck. Maybe it's that Canadian duct tape. That Canadian duct tape, they just ain't the same. They got Duke tape. They don't have duct tape. They got Duke. Yeah, it's kind of nice kind of getting pizza when I come out here, but I don't understand their pricing system. The first time I got a pizza out here, it was a double cheese pizza, pepperoni, and banana peppers. And it was like $24. That's picking it up. I was like, all right. So then I was like, I'm gonna ditch the whole double cheese because they put plenty of cheese on it, and I ended up getting it for like 17 something. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of money you save just by not getting double cheese. It's like shit. So this time I go there and it's like 19 something for the same damn pizza. And I was like, I was confused. I was going to say something to him, but it's like dumb shit. It's like, what the fuck is the real price on there? I couldn't even tell anybody what the price is on that pizza because I've had two different prices. But it's alright pizza. I just wish the sauce was a little different. I'm picky when it comes to pizza. My whole thing is I like pizza oven, but that shit is super expensive, like $30 for the same type of pizza that's delivered. But shit, maybe you could start delivering pizzas or something with your car, or be a chauffeur. Put a put a taxi thing on the top of your car. Just drive around looking for people to pick up. Dong. I don't think that piece is gonna break. I hate when you do that real hard, the vibrations and shit. Man, I'm getting this fire too close to me. I dug this pit out, probably about down another foot and a half, which is awesome. Yeah, it gets dark early as hell now. Shit, in the middle. It's crazy because in the middle of summer, it'll get dark like 9:30, 10 when it's finally dark out. And now it's like 6 o'clock, 6:30. It's like dark. Then when I got my pizza, it was about 6:30, and it was like I actually brought my flashlight with me. Taking out some firewood. Yeah, I'm fucking worn out. Every time I come out here, I get worn out. Just if I didn't have to get firewood, it would be easy. This would be a very easy thing to do, but the firewood is just mandatory. Except in the summertime, you get about half as much wood. Shit is like half the time when you have a fire in the middle of summer, it's not because you need it for heat. You need it for just ambiance or keep the critters away, that kind of shit. But yeah, it's different in the winter when you're using the shit to actually heat yourself. You try to think of every little way you can make it work better. And so I went and actually got a little scooper, garden trowel or whatever the things are, like little shovels you use with the hand. And that made my job so much easier digging down instead of using a primitive digging tool, which is basically a stick. I was joking in the beginning, like, I got a primitive digging tool. I don't need to buy anything. Shit. Until I realized I really do need something that will help dig out that whole thing without me sitting there spending an hour and a half using a piece of paper and a stick to try to scoop all the shit out of all the ash and shit. There was so much. It's weird. This fire is changing the composition of like the dirt, because it turned a bunch of dirt into just like this solid mass of like, I don't know if there's clay in the dirt or what it is. It turned into like this solid mass. Are there any stars out tonight or not? I don't see any. It's cloudy, so it's supposed to rain until Tuesday, so I ain't gonna get wet tonight. Oh shit! I see everybody kind of bounced, and I'm sure you guys are chilling where it's nice and warm with you friends or family or your girl or whatever. And I'm probably gonna go and get me a little something to eat. So I will see you guys later. If you tuned in, I know there was only a couple people. I appreciate it. I will see you guys later on. I'll gonna continue making my video and shit. I'll post that when I get home. But till next live, I'll say peace. Love you guys.